Hello, this is Kevin.
We don't usually introduce ourselves.
Yeah, I thought maybe we do that.
We're the sexagenarian sages.
Yeah.
All right, well, my name is Belinda.
Yep.
At least that's what it is today.
Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between erectile dissatisfaction and erectile dysfunction. There's a difference.
We are the sexagenarian sages.
And we're here to bust the myths of sex and aging.
And we are sex educators and sex coaches. We particularly like working with older individuals because we find that, well, they've been putting all their focus on everything else for so long that their erotic relationship has kind of slipped by the wayside. And it's so easy to get that heated up back again. We did.
Yep.
But it took some help.
We know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of part of that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think we have a lot to say to that.
Yep. And one of the other reasons we like working with the older people is we understand how it is dealing with the way our bodies changes as we get older. I've been through menopause. Ladies, I understand how that wreaks havoc on our hormones, on our desire, and so on and so forth. And I have overcome that myself, and I know how to help other women overcome that.
But understand, just because you're not older doesn't mean you're not going to be older.
Mm-hmm.
Day is going to come where you're kind of going through some of the things that we talk about that happen to people as they grow older. And some of these things may happen to you younger than you think they will.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, erectile dysfunction or erectile dissatisfaction. Both can occur while you're still young.
Yes. And even if it's not occurring yet, there are things you can do now to lessen the impact of it as you get older. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
What's the difference between the two? I'm going to quote somebody. I want to get his quote direct here, get it exact. It's from Michael Castleman.
He's a sexuality reporter.
Mm-hmm. This is what he says. If erections are unreliable, but you can make them happen during masturbation, you have erectile dissatisfaction. If you cannot raise an erection ever, even a semi-firm erection after extended masturbation while you're sober or you're not on drugs, that is erectile dysfunction. So the difference is that with erectile dysfunction, you can't get an erection. With erectile dissatisfaction, it's something that isn't reliable, but you can still get one.
And there's usually something that can be done about both.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk for a minute, though, about what an erection is.
Ooh, I know. Can I answer?
Yes,
Please.
Peaches, you can answer.
So, when a man becomes aroused, there's a structure in the penis called the corpus cavernosum, and it runs down the length of the penis. There's actually a pair. Am I not correct on that?
Mm-hmm.
There are two of them. It's a spongy type material with space in it. And as a man becomes aroused, more blood flows into the penis, causing the erection. And then there's sphincters that actually close down and keep the blood in the penis and keep the erection hard.
That's pretty much what happens. It's
I got it right?
hydrostatic pressure.
Thank you. I forgot to mention the term for it. Hydrostatic pressure. We were thinking about doing a demo with a pump and a condom, but there's actually a good YouTube video out there we're going to put the link to below that gives you a good explanation of hydrostatic pressure and how erections work.
Yep. Now, how many of you out there thought that, oh, it's because it's muscles lifting it up? How many of you thought that? It's not muscles.
There are, however, muscles in the pelvic floor that help support the erection.
They're at the very beginning area of the penis. There are still some attachments there of muscles that help. But what really brings an erection is that hydrostatic pressure. So sometimes people have difficulties, men have difficulties with that hydrostatic pressure, and they can't get an erection. Now, part of it may actually be the result of scarring.
Yeah.
Maybe there has been an injury, maybe there's been surgery, it's cut nerves, it's impeded the ability of the penis to actually respond. That's one thing that can cause the problem. What are some other things? Smoking, obesity, alcoholism, diabetes, kidney disease. What else?
Actually, you've got a list here, so let's see what we're forgetting.
There's lots of medical issues that can cause this.
Oh, multiple sclerosis
Ah,
can be one.
yep.
A sedentary lifestyle.
Ah, remember how we've spoken before about getting some exercise, getting your body moving? Now, we talked about that before, having to do with, you gotta have the circulation. Why do you have to have the circulation? Well, we've already told you, hydrostatic pressure. Get your circulation working better through aerobic activity, and it's going to help you to be able to have an erection.
There are also diet changes, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but there are also diet changes you can do that help support your ability to have and maintain erections. And we talked about that in one of our episodes.
Nitric oxide.
Yep.
Yep.
So here's a bit more of a psychological effect: performance anxiety and stress. Performance anxiety can happen anytime to any man. Quite frankly, it can happen to women as well. But when we're talking about erections, worrying about whether you're going to get it up can actually make it so it's harder for you to get up.
You get caught in your head, and that performance anxiety keeps you from getting an erection. Yep.
And learning to work with that is part of how you learn to work with.
And your partner can help with that. Learning to be able to communicate well during sex in a way that helps, and you both being able to relax and enjoy the moment.
But let's take a look now at some medical information, medical interventions.
First of all, not doctors.
No.
If you've got erectile dysfunction, see a doctor. Go see what a doctor can do for you, because there are physical problems, physical issues that can cause erectile dysfunction that can be treated.
And the information we're giving you now can help you talk to the doctor about that.
Right. So, since we've already mentioned some of the causes, what are some of the cures or treatments, let's call them, ways to get around the issue? Obesity, exercise, diet, lose some weight, stop smoking. If you are having problems with too much alcohol, you may need to actually work with a 12-step program to break that. What are some other things?
Well, actually, I want to focus on the true medical options at this point.
Okay.
We've all heard about Viagra and Cialis. And there's other ones out there now too. Pills that you can take. You know you're going to have sex, so you pop the pill in your mouth and you get an erection and you're ready to go. Well, one of the statistics we found is that's only effective in about 70% of men. That's still pretty damn good. 70% of men can get an erection by taking one of the pills. It's definitely worth checking out. I'm going to make you pronounce this.
Well, there are medications too that you can have injected into your penis that will help. I don't know about you, but the whole idea of having an injection in my penis does not really turn me on. But it is an alternative. It's a medical alternative, and you can talk to a doctor about that. There's vacuum pumps.
That's why I was just going to mention the vacuum pumps that actually use vacuum to draw the blood into the penis. Once again, they're somewhat effective. And it's one of the things to try and find out if it works for you.
They're a little cumbersome,
Yeah, they're a little cumbersome.
and your erection doesn't last a long time.
But once again, it's something to try and see if it works for you.
Sure.
And then another one, this was a penile implant.
Yeah.
And I don't have the full information on that, other than it's a surgery to actually help you have erections. And
Once again, something to talk to your doctor about.
non-medical options. You already mentioned quit smoking, lose weight, limit alcohol, especially before sex. You know that glass of beer that you love to have when you're out on date night? That can actually be interfering with your ability to have an erection. So, and we mentioned this in our video about diet as well. Limit your alcohol, especially immediately before you're planning to have sex.
And your food before you're planning to have sex. Because as we mentioned earlier, remember, that blood is needed for the hydrostatic pressure. If all that blood is in your stomach and your intestines doing work to digest your food, it's not going to be available for that erection.
And then there are sex toys that can help. There are cock rings. I mentioned the sphincters that close to help to keep the blood in the penis. Cock rings are an assist to that. I'm blanking on the type of material.
They come in different sizes, different materials.
That you can add to an erect penis to help it stay erect.
We may do a video on those one of these days. You can certainly do your own research.
And we'll get in more into some of the other toys in the next video. Alternatives for penetration. Because, well, actually, next week's video is going to be the pleasure of a soft cock. Because, contrary to the myths out there, you can give and receive sexual pleasure even if you can't have an erection. So tune into that next week, where we're going to give you some ideas about how you can have a fulfilling sex life even if you don't have an erection.
Yep.
I think that's everything on the list, but do you have other things to say?
No, I think that about completes me for the day.
Okay.
So we've given you some information, given you some suggestions. Go out there and start practicing.
Actually, I did kind of mention it, but I want to also stress, talk to your partner about that. Don't just shut them out. Don't say, well, I can't get a hard on, so she isn't going to want me. That's actually going to feel awful to her.
Sure.
She's going to have no idea. And quite frankly, many women will turn it back on, oh, I'm not sexy enough anymore. He doesn't want me. They're going to turn it back on themselves.
Yeah.
We've talked in some of our other videos how important it is to communicate around these things. This is one of those cases where you want to talk to your partner and make your partner a partner in solving the issue and learning how to work with it.
Yep. And it can be done.
Yes. Just scanning my internal list to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Well, if we do, we'll cover it in the next video.
Okay.
So,
Thanks for watching.
yep, thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week for Pleasures of a Soft Cock.